And we all have read about that resistance movement. It was fierce, and we actually helped them. And in 1989, the Soviets had had enough, just like we'd had enough in Lebanon, and the Soviets withdrew. From 1989 to 1992, the Afghan civil war continued until the government of Afghanistan fell. In 1993 and 1994, the Taliban came along, and they gained power. In 1996, Osama bin Laden moves back to Afghanistan and forges an alliance between al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Since then, we know the history very well of Afghanistan. A void was there to be filled, and the fundamental Islamists filled it. Now I'd like to turn to the third case study, a case study involving Somalia. In 1980, the Somali government becomes increasingly totalitarian, and resistance movements emerge across the country, which leads to a civil war in 1991. Being great, big-hearted Americans, in 1992 and 1993, we decided to save the starving Somalis, and we initiated Operation Restore Hope. In May 1993, the UN assumed the mission from the U.S. as an international mission. In October of 1993, the battle for Mogadishu took place. 18 Americans were killed. The U.S. stops operations against Aidid, and in March 1995, both U.S. and UN forces withdraw. It was later confirmed that al-Qaeda supported Aidid's militia. There is evidence, that the U.S. withdrawal inspired bin Laden's first bombing of the World Trade Center. The Islamist fundamentalists filled the void once again. Let me move to my fourth case study, the Israeli withdrawal, again, from Lebanon. Preceding the Israeli invasion in 1982, the PLO was conducting attacks on Israel from South Lebanon. In 1982, Israeli forces invaded southern Lebanon in response to an assassination attempt by Abdul Nadal against Israel's ambassador to the UK. After attacking PLO, Syrian and Muslim Lebanese forces, Israel occupied southern Lebanon. If you want to read a great account of this, read the book entitled Because They Hate. It's a book written by a Christian woman by the name of Bridget Gabriel, who is now living in the U.S., and she tells the story of living in a bunker. Living in a bunker until the war was over. Not a nice thing to do. In 1982 to 1984, the multinational peacekeeping force came to Lebanon. The PLO withdrawal in 1982 is replaced by a strengthening of Hezbollah. In 1985, Israel moves to the security zone in southern Lebanon, and in 2000, Israel withdraws. I only need to point to the events of last summer in Lebanon to say once again, the fundamentalist Islamists, Hezbollah, filled the void. We're embarked today on a discussion of another potential road to withdrawal. And I don't represent that this resolution does that, but it puts us in that direction. Evidence of our failure to respond to terrorism has emboldened al-Qaeda for years. This withdrawal would be another one if it goes that far. In 1993, the World Trade Center bombing took place. We didn't respond. In 1996, the Khobar Tower bombings took place, and we didn't respond. In 1998, the U.S. embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania occurred, and we didn't respond. In 2000, the attack on the U.S. coal occurred, and we didn't respond. The result, New York City, 9/11. People ask me why I am so concerned about this. People ask me why that, Saxton, you've been on the floor too much. Let me show you the next chart. This is why I'm concerned. This is my family. When I first ran for Congress in 1984, the steering committee asked me why I wanted to be a member of Congress. I said, because I've had a good life. I said, because this is a great country, and because I want my family to have the same opportunities I've had. This is my son Marty and his wife and their little gal, my granddaughter Allie. This is my daughter Jen. This is Kate. This is Kate, and this is Jacqueline. I will admit the artists got a little carried away because they made a montage out of this place, and they put out of this picture, and they put my grandchildren on here 2 or 3 times each. But I'll tell you what, if we go down this road to the point where we can't correct a mistake, I wonder what the future is going to be for my family and for your family. And so this resolution today is an important one. It may be only 97 words or whatever it is, and it may have only 2 statements in it. But we're headed down a road, and it's a dangerous one in my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.